Aquatica didn't just bend, it broke. Because every system has a breaking point. Eventually, at some point, it snaps. And the spark wasn't dramatic, it was tiny. A tube dispute, two families, raised voices, not danger, tubing. And the crowd didn't step back, it stepped in. That was the fracture. The snap didn't sound like a scream, it sounded like silence. Protocols failed, staff froze, security arrived late and went ignored. Authority lost its voice, and the park shifted from controlled environment to pressure zone. Cracks spread fast. Chair disputes, line collapses, guests cutting through restricted areas. Each incident feeding the next until the infrastructure buckled. Radios overloaded, operations slowed, guests made their own rules, and the human cost showed up in faces: frustration, suspicion, exhaustion. A staff member sitting on a platform, head in their hands, overwhelmed by a system that abandoned them. Aquatica didn't collapse because of one incident. It collapsed because every small failure stacked until the weight became unbearable. Trust, structure, authority. Lose all three, you fracture. This is episode 6, Fracture. A study in pressure, behavior, and how fast a system unravels when cracks go ignored. Welcome to the Mind War Podcast.
Welcome back to the Mind War Podcast, episode 6 of the Aquatica Files. I'm Grandmaster.
And I am Badger.
Today's episode is the day the system finally snapped. Every system has a breaking point. You can stretch it, bend it, patch it, maybe even ignore it. But eventually, at some point, it snaps. And unfortunately, Aquatica didn't just reach that point, it's already crossed it.
Right. Because escalation isn't the end, it's the warning. The fracture is the end. The moment when the environment stops functioning as intended and starts functioning on instinct. And Aquatica hit that moment hard.
Sometimes you can feel it in the air while you're there at Aquatica. The tension it was structural, not present, but structural. Like the park itself was holding its breath. And then the smallest thing sets things off, like the smallest things.
Yeah, tube dispute. That's all it took. Two families arguing over who had it first. Voices raised, bodies squared.
We're tubing.
And the crowd didn't step back, it stepped in. Because by episode 6, the crowd wasn't a bystander, it was a participant.
And then the snap comes. The snap didn't sound like a scream, it sounded like silence. The moment when everyone stops talking at once. When all of a sudden the energy shifts from frustration to danger.
And the staff froze. Not because they didn't care, but because they literally didn't know what to do. The protocols they were trained on didn't apply anymore. They were written for a park, but Aquatica wasn't a park anymore, it was a pressure zone.
Well, listen, to be fair again, let's go back to the staff. Staff treat each other like crap at Aquatica, you can see it. Blue shorts with white shirts treat the red shorts with white shirts badly. I'm putting that out there right now. Blue shirts are the team leaders. Blue shorts, with the white shirts. Team leaders written on their back. Treat other staff like trash. And unfortunately, whenever there's a situation, security arrives late. It's not their fault. They're stretched thin. But when they do show up, the crowd didn't even respect them. They didn't even challenge. They tried to challenge the problem, but no one even listened to them. And at one point we were like, should we say something? No, we just kind of moved ourselves to another part of the park.
Yeah, and that's the fracture. When authority loses its voice, when the badge doesn't mean anything, when the uniform doesn't command space, that's when the environment becomes self-governing.
Well, it's kind of like a crack in a glass. It's like awesome, right? One conflict triggers another one, a chair dispute, a line collapse, a group cutting through a restricted area to avoid the crowd, each incident feeding the next.
And the infrastructure couldn't keep up. Radios overloaded, staff scattered, ride operations slowed to a crawl. Guests started making their own paths, their own rules, their own logic.
And that's the moment the park stopped being a controlled environment. Let me reiterate some things. A chair dispute. A group of people cutting through a restricted area to avoid the crowd. All of this is feeding the so-called controlled environment. And it became reactive. Every decision was a response, not a plan.
And reactive systems don't survive pressure, they implode.
Well, the problem is the human cost isn't physical. It's psychological. You can see it in the faces of the staff, the exhaustion, the expression of defeat, the sense that they were fighting a battle they can't win. Right. And they are, essentially. And
then you can see it in the guests. The frustration, the suspicion, the readiness to snap at the smallest provocation. People weren't enjoying a day at the water park. They were enduring it.
Well, and that's the part that's kind of tragic. Aquatica isn't a dangerous place because of criminals or crowds. It is dangerous sometimes because the environment pushes everyone past their limits.
Yep.
That is the issue right there.
Well, and you know as well as I do that once people hit their limits, they're not cooperative anymore.
No.
They're not patient. They're not rational. They're survival driven.
And that's the dramatic part. It's not cinematic. It's not even quiet. A staff member sitting on the edge of a ride platform, head in their hands, while guests argue behind him or her. And that's exactly what we see. They're sitting like this, they're just like, I don't know what to do. They get on the radio, and their person takes forever to get there. It's just...
Well, and that image alone says everything. They're not a villain. They're not a hero. They're just a human being overwhelmed by a system that failed them.
And that's when you realize the fracture isn't caused by the people. It's caused by the system that's leaving the people to fend for themselves.
Hang on, say that again.
The fracture isn't caused by people. It's caused by the system that leaves people to fend for themselves.
Wow.
Staff and or guests.
I mean, that makes sense because Aquatica didn't collapse because of one incident.
No.
It collapsed because every small failure stacked on top of the next until the weight became unbearable.
Right. The thing for me, it's inevitable because the thing about the whole situation, it's not like Aquatica's a doomed water park or anything like that. The system can get trust back again. It can get structurally fixed and authority can be respected. But the problem right now is it's all failing at the same time.
Yeah.
If you go to the park, folks, and you sit there, use one of your words, folks. People, if you go there and just pay attention, and you just see chaos.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a controlled chaos.
Almost,
right? And then eventually it becomes tension. And it's not a racial tension. It's nothing like that. It's human nature.
Yep.
Right? So don't think that it's a racial situation going on at the Aquatica, because it's not. It's a
but look for microliters.
Yeah, look for microliters, and they're everywhere of any race, really. But and it's not a political thing. There's nobody running around with blue on or red on and whatever. It's nothing political. It's human nature at its very worst.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what's showing up at this water park.
So that's going to end out our series on the Aquatica files, a study in pressure, a study in behavior, a study in how fast a controlled environment can unravel when cracks go ignored.
But endings aren't just conclusions, they're warnings. Because every environment, parks, workplaces, cities, nations, they live or die by the same principles.
Yeah, trust, structure, authority. Lose one, you wobble. Lose two, you fall. Lose all three, you're gonna fracture.
And once you fracture, there's no going back. The only thing you can do at this point is to rebuild.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Aquatica Files, and this case is now closed. I'm Badger. We thank you for watching the Mind War podcast. The Aquatica Files series has been a lot of fun. We're going to jump into another series starting next week, so make sure you tune in. Again, I'm Badger.
Grandmaster, remember, always be kind.
Have a great day, and thanks again.